I'm gonna pull the whole thing down. I'm gonna bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gonna be biblical.
Hello and welcome. Happy Tuesday. Well, we have a great show today. How many of you guys have seen the movie The Matrix? Most of us, right? Yes. We've got a great conversation and discussion coming today with the author of what many of you don't know was originally called The Immortals, but we've come to know as The Matrix. So, how you guys doing? How are you, Stu? How are you, Tom?
Doing great. Doing great. If my audio's on, yeah.
We hear you fine.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm so excited because the things that you'll be reviewing today have never been put in order, never really been seen before. And now we know that the Matrix case has never been claimed. It was a whole smoke and mirror pony show that Warner Bros. Did by supplying their own attorneys. They were all defense attorneys to make sure that the world would never know the Matrix case was never argued, never adjudicated. So now we can go through that and show that. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Great.
So if you don't mind, Tom, just for the sake of the audience, and I know you and I, we've known each other now for a while. We've done a number of shows. We did a 3-part series on your whole story and the story of your screenplay and how it was basically taken and stolen and, rewritten and all the nefarious things that went into that. But if you could, just for the sake of starting our show to bring them up to date of where we are, could you do like a quick, maybe 5-minute overview of, and I know that's hard, of just where you came from, what happened, the horror you have been through, and then where you are now, which we're going to talk about the actual case.
Right. Well, first of all, if you look at the Matrix, it's a dark, dark world, the Matrix world, if you will. And so you have to come from a dark place. And that's what I did. I came from a very affluent family that was highly connected on the Republican side and also religious right. And so right away I was thrown into the mix. And my background was Swiss royalty. My mom's was Swiss royalty related. And at Battle of Hastings, my one relative was knighted in 1066 when William the Conqueror came through. So very historic, big shake-up moments in history. My family's right there. And so we were considered one of the cabal selected families to even be the face of the Christian coalition at Pat Robertson's group. I was to be the face of that. I was drafted in basically to his organization. And they look for certain bloodlines. So I was born into a tumultuous kind of situation. It was very dark, very rough childhood. And at an early age, I decided this doesn't seem right. I had to kind of disassociate with my surroundings to survive, rough treatment, beatings, things like that. And that's really where you get a start of where the Matrix comes from. This world, that world, it was a necessity in my life. Lucid dreaming, all that kind of stuff. It led to when I was at Pat Robertson's organization, having everything taken away from me because I felt like I was being called to embody compassion, humility, and they were talking about world power and having a one world theocracy. I mean, so what I was just X'd right out, lost everything. That's when I started composing a piece that became The Matrix and fully submitted it and everything. So I am the author. But they didn't let up. They kept making sure that my life was destroyed. My sons were murdered. My daughter was estranged. And that's where the train station scene comes from, everything. So it's a lot right now I'm saying. but it was all a response to the world around us, the dark world, and what the political agendas were of a religious right connected to a cabal that wanted a one world society. And what they were whispering to me was their plans. So I thought I'd whisper through art. So The Matrix really is sort of a documentary for future generations, was the intention. And now we're seeing that we can actually win it all back, including the tech that was in it. Neuralink, Jacks the Neck, come from the original work. I think we can all agree it's in The Matrix. So that's where you first see it. And they gave it to Elon Musk. So if you want to go down this rabbit hole, we can take a look at how this all ties together and the moves they made to shut down it ever seeing the light of day, all this evidence.
So essentially, when you wrote this, and of course, thank you so much for explaining, just in such a short amount of time, like just what you'd been through. And when you talk about the fact that they put you into this role that just did not resonate with your soul and who you were, that's when you kind of challenge them, let's say. And that's when they started to retaliate against you in all kinds of ways, including and not limited to the deaths of your sons. And yeah. And so the movie, they kind of took over, just so everybody understands how this works. You had the screenplay, they took it over. They were going to rewrite it in the way that they felt it should be. But also, as you had explained, there's also this essence of like a shaming too, because a lot of what they rewrote in the movie was to kind of torture and shame you. You by the way they changed scenes and they changed characters and all of that, which is a very dark, and like we went through that on a couple of the other shows one time about all those things they did. So now your life's work over the last number of years has been to reclaim that this is a work that you did that was stolen and changed, correct? And so let's start with that timeline when you decided, well, I am going to, because I know you're very famous for showing that that actual screenplay that belongs to you.
Yeah, they don't like when I do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now legally they took it from you. They didn't answer your calls when you were following up because they had stolen it. They had all this nonsense with this person isn't here anymore and that person does this. And then they gave it to the Wachowski brothers, who became like, touted as these brilliant, creative geniuses, which we know there's a whole rabbit hole to that. And then now your rewritten screenplay is something that you've been trying to get back under your ownership. So how have you, bring everybody up to date then with the lawsuit, because this took an interesting turn, I guess, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just ask, did you write it initially as a novel, or did you write it to be a screenplay to be turned into a film?
So important questions too. And here's what I would want to definitely follow that through. It was written as a full shooting screenplay. Interior, dusk, this described completely. So how do you steal that? It's written as ready to drive off the lot, to go on there and shoot it in full. So what they did was, it's such an important point you just raised. So what they did was they decided, the Wachowskis that were brought in as failed at everything they did, they brought in failed writers to claim it in-house. They decided, listen, we'll do a visual storyboard. It's a famous 600-page visual storyboard. We'll do a visual storyboard lifting all the images off a shooting script. We'll steal it that way. And then we'll make it up as we go on set. Now, keep in mind, you just raised something very important. They're not following a written script. They didn't rewrite my script. They kept my script intact on set. We know that from the fight choreographer. And now follow this. So they're using a visual storyboard in one hand, the written shooting script in the other, and they're trying to make it up as they go along. It's like taking a Porsche and shopping it in the shop and trying to reassemble it. It doesn't work. And so it didn't tie together, right? So you got their attorney saying it was meant to be one seamless piece. And you got Joel Silver on set in 2003 saying, when they're doing the second and third installment of Matrix, we hope when we watch the rushes, it'll tie together. We hope that we used up the story. Wow. And then what wasn't used up as they made it up as they went along on that visual storyboard, follow me, they put in Animatrix. So they did shorts with their favorite Japanese anime directors, to do shorts of every image off that storyboard that they didn't lift to it, making it up going on set. See what happens? So that's where they used it up. So they didn't have a written script. There was no written Matrix script, and there's still no copyright on a Matrix script because it wasn't written. It was being brought off by the visual storyboard. It was a stupid idea because you ripped the story apart. So that sets us up for what they're really afraid of, making it the way it was originally written and copyrighted. So we're the only ones with the copyright at the end of that story. And that's what's so cool is we didn't realize that by forcing us not to claim Matrix 1 by supplied attorneys with suspended licenses, by forcing us not to claim Matrix 1, that's where that TikTok clip comes in if we can play it with this great reveal, if you're up for it.
Sure.
Okay. Do you want me to, let me just share my screen then, because I have got...
Go for it. Go for it.
Haven't I? Hold up. I thought we were going to...
I threw a curveball. I didn't mean to. I was just kind of going with the flow as a writer.
No, you're all right. Can I just ask you as well, did you, when you wrote that, did you write it as
oh my God, this is so huge.
A one part, or was it a 3-part?
It was seamless, one part, 128 pages. Each page operates as a minute in Hollywood time as you do a screenplay. So it's 128 minutes long. I made it tight. I made it perfect. What I thought was totally ready. I perfected it, I thought. And that's why Bonaventura said at the pitch session, who claims he discovered and shepherded it still, that he said, this is revolutionary. We're making this. And they were blown away, particularly, Stu, by all the new concepts. They thought everything, quote, had been done under the sun. And when they saw this, well, of course, you have to come from that dark background. Wachowski's didn't. You have to be like this author with dark background, where you have all these new concepts from that vision worldview, right? And that's why they had all these 190 matchups that occurred from the storyboard they used to lift all those images. So go ahead and play this. And this is what we discovered.
Okay, I'll just tell you, you got a bit of a wobble on your.
Oh, it's because the stupid. I set up an impromptu bookshelf to fire off.
Yeah.
So I'll keep my knees off it. Go ahead.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh my God, this is so huge. We were wondering why the attorneys for Warner Brothers were so shook up. What was going on? Why all this pressure on us? Why sending Sophia Stewart and minions after us? We just found out what's going on. All this time, it was like mind control or something. The attorneys that were supplied to us, that were defense attorneys for Warner Brothers, had us only claim the sequels. So when you hear he lost in court, he lost his case, we never had a Matrix case yet. They had us claim the sequels and then said, oh, since you're claiming the sequels only, any matchups in Matrix don't count. We haven't had a Matrix case yet. Now we can. We can claim it. So when you hear he lost in court, we haven't even had our case.
This is so important. They smoke and mirrored us into thinking, you'll look online, they'll say he lost his case. We never got to claim Matrix because they're supplied attorneys. It's all fraud. We never got to claim Matrix. Now, that's also what they did was, like it said in that clip, as we discovered, by claiming sequels only, and they used Sophia Stewart, the one that claims to be the mother Matrix, to call me and say, you're the missing link right out of the gate, right out of the gate. You're the missing link. You claim Matrix 2 and 3. I'll claim 1. Well, they were doing that in cahoots with the other attorneys supplied so that Matrix 1's not claimed. All right. So then they order, okay, since you're not claiming Matrix 1, which I wanted to do, any matchups in Matrix 1 don't count for the sequels. Therefore, you can't claim those matchups in the sequels. Therefore, no matchups. Doesn't make any sense. Why would you claim sequels and not the main piece? The main piece is where the bread and butter is. The main piece is where they inserted all the personal information of the author. The main piece is what they don't want revealed. Now we understand we never got a chance through fraud because of their fraud, because they're supplying all that attorneys and stuff. And claim Matrix yet. So now we got them and we can include everything in. That's what this means, finally, which opens the door for all the other authors that have been ripped off. Thoughts?
Yeah. Brilliant. So precedent is set, is it?
What's that? Yeah. Oh my God. Well,
it's set, is it?
Yeah. President Trump even knows about it because Roseanne Barr had me on and she was calling me from his place. And she said the whole Trump family knows about it. It's considered the greatest story. They're waiting for the right time to reveal. We're set. It's set, which means our whole timeline in our world can be changed back to what it should have been with all the people they've defamed and destroyed and put apart and the players they've used revealed, which includes Elon Musk as a player to replace others. He was my replacement. Claiming Neuralink from Warner Brothers. Let that sink in. Jack's the back of the neck. The Wachowskis announced when they were given the work to steal in 95 after they had these different candidates, including Tom Hanks, they announced right away, we want to do Jack's the neck for real because they wanted to get credit for the tech Cash in on that, as well as the story. Well, Warner Brothers slapped him back. You never heard that again because they were preparing to give it to somebody else, and they chose a failed engineer, Elon Musk, to take it, to control him and put him by the president's side. Let's walk through this. Let's walk through this puppy and see what they actually did. And if you want to go to share screen, we can walk it.
Right.
Okay. We're good to go?
Yeah. Are you going to share your screen now?
Yeah, share screen. If I'm still active on my screen share, it says I am. So I'm going big. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Let's fire away. Let's go down the rabbit hole. This has never been revealed before. Let's take a look. So here you have that grinning schmuck, Tony Rankin, a defense attorney, classmate of lead attorney for Warner Brothers, Linda Burrow, from University of Berkeley. This man comes in and solicits me to be represented by him. He's not a copyright attorney. He's a defense attorney, and he can't practice law in California. So why is he soliciting me? He said a quote later. He just wants to give Warner Brothers everything they want and be done with me. Let that sink in. Let's go to the next slide. Here we see right here, the Bar Association of California. And let's go down on Tony Rankin here. See Tony Rankin at the top, right?
Yeah.
Let's go down and see what his status was. See the University of Berkeley right there?
Yeah.
University of Berkeley, classmates, same alumni. Right at the bottom, 7/30/1990, suspended, failed to pay, not eligible to practice law. So they sent me a guy who was ineligible to practice law to throw my case.
Wow.
Makes sense? Next slide. Here's the contract. Now, ChatGPT did us a great service. ChatGPT is going to run this contract through and tell us 5 traps in it and an illegal clause, a criminal clause that he put in. Tony Rankin never wanted this contract shown, ever. This is the Matrix case, original writer being represented by a defense attorney with a suspended license and an illegal contract he puts in. And he runs the clock out. Here's how it works, guys. 1999 is the shooting date for Matrix, right? I submitted before that fully. We'll see that in a moment. But you have 10 years to discover. I didn't discover. So 10 years later in 2009, this guy comes at me. They want me to discover, to control the discovery process. So he comes at me and goes, we have to file now, to make it. So he says, okay, let's do some preliminary work. We got 3 years after discovery. It's 2009. They show me the slides from the train station scene, everything else. We got to help get you rights back. So what happens is he runs the clock out for 3 years. And he doesn't give me my contract. He doesn't want to ever be seen because it's illegal. And then what happens, he throws the case by a month when we're supposed to file. After 3 years, the deadline, he disappears on vacation, is unreachable, right? Unreachable. And then after all these emails, phone calls don't go through, the day after we're supposed to file to meet statute of limitations, he appears the day after on an email saying, well, I guess we missed it. I guess you don't have a case.
Wow.
So what happens is I say, well, maybe it was a different time. They know it wasn't. My Facebook shows that we discovered in 2009. I didn't remember that, but there it was. So they decide to go forward and give me the legal contract. Now, this time we get it in 2012. And look what happens with ChatGPT. So here we have that special yellow section there, right? In the event a client fails to adequately cooperate. Let's see what ChatGPT says about this thing. Well, first of all, let's go to my deposition. And I want to show you Rankin objecting to this ever being seen, what you're seeing now. All right, let's go to my deposition. At my deposition, he's not going to be in my favor. The only thing he's going to object to is anything in my favor for Warner Brothers' favor. So here's the question. Let me blow it up and let's walk through this. This is about seeing the contract. Question from his classmate representing Warner Brothers, lead attorney. Is there a reason that you didn't file your lawsuit until almost 3 years after this February 2010 discovery? Well, we know what the answer is. It's Rankin. And so I don't know what to say. I go, I can't recollect what the reasons were. I think it was between attorney and client determined that way. Yeah, my attorney who was planted told me not to claim it. Then she says, and do you have a written agreement with Mr. Rankin? I say, we do. And then question, okay, is Mr. Rankin being paid by the hour or contingency? Well, Rankin's going to interject right here and object for his own behalf. Well, I object to that. That's attorney-client privilege. It's not protecting me. It's protecting him because he has a legal contract. Mm-hmm. She says it's actually not. The financial structure of your relationship is not privileged. Do you have authority on that? Now watch this. Watch how angry he gets. So she's saying, pointing out he doesn't have authority. She goes, I do, which I'd be happy to provide later. He goes, well, okay. But if you want him to answer the question now, I'm not going to let him answer that based on attorney-client privilege. Again, this is not for my favor. Attorney-client privilege is supposed to protect the client. He's protecting himself. She goes, okay, we can come back to it if you want to find me authority. Okay. And I'll object also based on relevance, not likely to lead to discovery or any relevant evidence. So she's saying, okay, and he's still objecting. He does not want this contract ever seen. Why? Right? Now, what's important is, can we show the ChatGPT thing? Can we show that? I didn't mean to throw you another curveball.
No,
Was it
you're
possible
right.
to show the ChatGPT breakdown one? Wait, I got it right here. Ugh. I can show it. I just don't have to show it in slides. My bad. Here we go. This is so important. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Watch this. This is ChatGPT. This is AI breaking down his contract, which was totally laid out for it. And here's what it says. Clause 3, attorneys shall receive as fee for professional services 40% of any recovered obtained. That already the maximum amount allowed. Then he says, or the applicable percentage from paragraph 3 also applied to the most recent settlement offer, whichever is granted. In a translation by ChatGPT, he's guaranteed himself a payout even if no settlement occurs or the client fires him. That illegal fee inflation violates the rule, must be reasonable and clear. Now, this is what's so amazing is, if I fire him according to this contract and another attorney wins the case, Rankin says that he's going to get 40% of the winnings of that settlement from the winning attorneys, even when he was fired and he's not my attorney. Think that's illegal? Yeah. Clause 9, in the event client discharges attorneys, I fire him. Attorneys shall be entitled to immediate reimbursement of all their costs and fee based on attorneys' regular hourly rates. What? ChatGPT says this is double dipping. You can't combine hourly and contingency billing. It's one or the other, not both. This setup is unethical, hybrid, that penalizes the client for leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Are we getting the picture? No wonder he objected to it ever being seen and didn't give me the first time around. 4, self-protective withdrawal clause. Clause 9 again. If client fails to adequately cooperate, attorneys may withdraw and shall be entitled to applicable attorney fees, reimbursement of all out-of-pocket costs immediately. This gives, ChatGPT says, this gives him the right to quit the case. He can quit the case whenever he wants and still charge full price. That's a conflict of interest. He can financially benefit by not finishing the job. And then cites it. Get in the picture.
This
Next.
is why I do not like reading legalese.
It's incredible, isn't it? So this is icing on top of the fact that we never got to claim matrix through them. It's icing on top. Wait till the case goes. Nice. 5, this lien also applies to any recovery obtained by other counsel from clients subsequently retains. And then ChatGPT phrases it very colorfully. That's a predatory lien clause. He's trying to bind the client's future attorney's work to his own claim. What attorney is going to take the case if this holds? What attorney is going to take the case if they realize, oh, wait, Rankin, the schmuck crackhead who was fired, is going to get all our winnings? You think they'll take it?
Oh, right.
So even after firing or withdrawal, that's not enforceable in Hawaii or California without a court-approved lien order. It's considered fee chaining, which violates rules. Lawyers cannot acquire propriety interest in the subject of litigation except as allowed by law. 6, arbitration clause. Any dispute about this agreement shall be resolved by binding arbitration under the American Arbitration Association. What does ChatGPT say about that? Mandatory arbitration for attorney misconduct disputes is a red flag. Why? It prevents clients from filing grievances or suing for malpractice in open court. That's considered unconscionable under Hawaii and California ethics. Isn't that incredible? How many have we had so far?
Wow.
Let's go again. Timing and intent. No wonder he never wanted and objected repeatedly, even when the opposition saying, okay. The date, June 2013 matters. If he wasn't properly licensed in Hawaii or California, his license was inactive or subpoenaed. This entire agreement was fraudulent from inception. Any money collected, liens filed, or filings made under it could be used as evidence of fraud or unauthorized practice. And keep in mind, he's working for his classmate of Warner Brothers and Joel Silver. So he wants to make sure they get whatever they want. They're in on this. They'll be caught on this. In short, what does he want seen? Clause 369, hidden double billing, post-termination lien money if fired or case dropped. Clause 6, illegal lien on future attorney's work, ongoing leverage over client. Clause 9, which fits Warner Brothers' wish to keep me bound. Clause 9 converts contingency into hourly at will, guaranteed payout even or on loss. Clause 10 forces arbitration, avoids public accountability. Bing, right? Refusing copy, violation of ethics duty, hides paper trail of misconduct. Practicing unlicensed, criminal violation. Entire contract void, malpractice exposure. Now, keep in mind, California Bar Association, corrupt, worse than Al Capone. Because we brought it to the bar. You know what they said? We're going to send a letter for your eyes only and Rankin's eyes only, and it's just going to remind him not to do it again, and no one else can see this.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, now let's go down to this. Red flags broken down for you. The burden, okay, you're paying nothing unless we win, but only if they quit first. In the event there's no, okay. The burden is on you to end it or you pay. So I have to throw my own case. The clause says the attorney pays cost only if you agree to quit on their advice. So if I agree to, if he tells me you need to quit your case right now, even if he says Warner Brothers wants you to stop, they don't like this case, you got to quit right now, I have to say yes, otherwise I'm paying lots of money. Or if I lose at trial. So the only way I'm going to win in this contract is if I agree to quit on their advice or lose at trial. Do you think Warner Bros. Didn't craft this? But if you disagree with the recommendation to quit or fire them, you may owe all out-of-pocket costs, even if no money was recovered. See the trap?
Yeah.
Clause 9. Are we being wowed by this? Clause 9, cooperation, termination, and punishment. Okay, trap 2. You lose your case if you dare to question them. That's what ChatGPT is saying. If I question Rankin on any situation, if I dare to, this gives the attorney total power to quit the case and still demand everything.
Now, Tom, just a question. Did you sign this?
What he did was the second time around, he put it in front of my face and said, it's the same thing we had before. I just didn't remember if you had it or not. Now that we're coming back to the board after the case has already run out in statutes. So just sign it here. He had those little real estate markers on it, arrows. It's the same thing. Just sign it. We get right to the points here. And I signed. But it doesn't hold because it's illegal. It's illegal. Right? See how far he went?
But what I'm saying is that this is your attorney. So when you first started working with him, you trusted him and you didn't really necessarily question.
Not at all. Right. At first, no,
right. Which many people do. I mean,
right. Well, you're going to see it in the, you're going to see, well, I did ask questions, but he would snow it around and dance around, right?
Yeah. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we both do. So yeah, you're right. And so when you get to the next slides, I'm going to show you how I respond. It'll amplify what you just said, how I was trying to trust him, right? So it says, if you lose your case, if you lose your case, if you dare to question them, gives total power, hourly fees, all that stuff. Now let's go to the next trap. Ready? I hope you're enjoying this because this is huge. For the next case coming up, picture this in the next case in front of a courtroom and the public. Trap number 3, whichever is greater, guaranteed payday for them. This is a classic gotcha language. It looks in the highest possible payoff, even if no recovery happened. That's ChatGPT describing it for us. Hidden hourly fee bombs. I mean, how do you have in here? Attorneys shall be entitled to immediate reimbursement, which means you can't get another attorney, which why would they want it anyway when they're not going to get any money anyway from you because it's going to go to him even when he's fired. A fee based on attorney's regular hourly rate. So it says trap 4, hidden hybrid billing. Even if you signed up for a contingency agreement, this clause flips it. If they withdraw or you fire them, they can suddenly bill you like it was hourly all along.
Wow.
So then it says at the end here, concern, backdoor fees, punishment for firing, vague terms, retroactive hourly rates, settlement fee ambush. Look at this. Fee based on last offer, even so last offer. So if we get another attorney, right, and they win, right, and they get a bigger settlement than we were even offered back with him, right, he gets that 40% of it. We could owe thousands just for walking away. Can bill you by the hour after the fact, converts contingency into hourly billing if things go south. Failure to cooperate is undefined. They can bail and bill you if they claim you're difficult, which they did. You owe fees if you terminate them, deters you from switching lawyers, which they didn't want. Keep in mind, too, can I just throw in real quick? Rankin wrote a letter to the other firm that was supposed to handle this and said, I'll walk you, let me know if he tries to hire any attorneys, and I'll walk them through why they shouldn't have Tom as a client.
They are snakes, aren't they?
Yeah. Whichever, and then backdoor fees, whichever is greater, hourly versus percentage, old offer, you could owe big with no trial. So let's get rid of this little clip and go back to the things. And I want to show you into the contract objection, right? Contract objection. And you can see my responses. And I'll speed through this right now because you get the idea what's going on here, right? Mm-hmm. He is employed by Warner Brothers, his classmate, and Joel Silver to make sure nothing comes to light. And so you can see me going, I can't relent. I don't know. I'll go on my attorney's advice. I don't know what to do. He said he would support me at the deposition. He's shooting me down right and left every which way. Now, remember I said that Joel Silver, the producer of Matrix, He's going to protect Joel Silver, right? He's working for Joel Silver. Watch this from the deposition. I want everybody to pay attention to this one. Watch what happens when I try to even speak about Joel Silver as a defendant. Question from his classmate, Linda Burrows. And is it your belief that whatever occurred between Mr. Silver and Warner Brothers had something to do with your lawsuit? This is my own deposition. I don't even get to finish my sentence or even start it. I go, I can't rank an objection. He calls for speculation as belief is not relevant. He's protecting Joel Silver, not his client. Right? And then it says this. She says, you can answer. And he mocks me. You should hear the tape. We have the tape. He goes, if you can. He mocks me. If you can. And I go, I'll have to honor my attorney. My attorney just mocked me, and I'm still going like, I have to honor my attorney. She goes, no, he didn't instruct you. She should just tag on, he mocked you, right? And then Rankin goes, well, I'll instruct you to answer to the extent that it doesn't call for rank speculation, which I don't think is proper subject for testimony. Whose attorney is he?
Right.
He just put me down in front of the defense attorney saying that I would offer rank speculation? Stench? What is going on? Then she goes, okay, you have a couple of, watch this. Let me blow it up real quick. I hope this is making sense. This is my deposition. Okay, and my question is, what, if anything, does that have to do with this case? So she's asking about Joel Silver, right? Because I said this. I said, you raised the fact, she said, you raised the fact that you raised the quote, separation between Joel Silver and Warner Brothers. She's rattled right now because she knows Rankin's blowing it for them. And I go, I don't know what she's talking about. On a few occasions in this deposition, they're trying to cover up that Silver's involved in all. I said, it's pretty glaring and striking in the media right now, or was. And then the question is, okay, my question is that, if anything, does that have to do with this case? She's so rattled, she's not even phrasing it properly. What does this have to do with Silver, Joel Silver involved? He's the executive producer. And Rankin steps in, same objection. And she says, you can answer. And he says again, if you can. He mocked me twice with the same phrase. And I go, it would be my opinion, because I don't know what's going on, what he's doing. She goes, okay, why did you raise this issue several times during the deposition? See how broken her language is? She's rattled too. Rankin's blowing it. He's too demonstrative. I go, why'd you do that? Why did I raise the issue? Correct. That he was removed? Well, yes. I would say because of the timeline of events as the rest of this case. Keep in mind, I've got the flu. I'm sick. I'm tired. Rankin's been harassing me before this even happened. He said, you're delusional to think that Silver has anything to do with this. We'll show in a second why he does. She goes, the timeline. And do you mean by the timeline of events? And so I say this real quick. I respond completely. Somehow God gave me the words to be right on record, and it pisses them both off, or they don't know what to say. That is, you are showing you have materials that are whatever's released to put on the web or anything regarding me. You have it. So I said, you just showed me my website. You have it. You have the answer. So it would go to follow that the information regarding the stat sheet where all my personal information in high school was stuck in Matrix itself, where the siblings put it in, what is obviously my personal stats, would have been something I believe that would have been snuck by, if you will, Joel Silver's attention as a producer, possibly. And I believe that he would be held responsible and accountable for such blatant information, personal information about myself being inserted into the film itself. Crickets. They're not answering because I'm answering it too well, really. Not to toot a horn, but to lay it out here. This is a great answer. It's going to blow them away. They don't know what to say. No objection, no word, no even a fart. Perhaps the siblings didn't think it would come to light, but since it did, I believe someone had to take the fall. I believe Joel Silver took the fall, in my opinion, for what the siblings put in the film. And they're not stopping me. I'm blown away. After objection. And the timeline would go to follow that when we went to file suit, Joel Silver, after 25 years or so in the business association with Warner Brothers, where he had been writing, I heard, checks off their own account, is suddenly removed. There's a major move, and it lines up with our timeline very nicely and is striking, in my opinion. Now, what just happened here is, follow me. Warner Brothers removed Joel Silver in that 25-year relationship. What I'm referring to, they removed him, so he no longer have anything to do with Warner Brothers Matrix, showing that Matrix gave Joel Silver Matrix mortals. See? And so I just laid it out completely, the whole trap, everything they were doing. So does Joel Silver have anything to do with Matrix? There he is in camo. And there he is next to Andy Wachowski, who claims to be the writer that can't even wipe his butt properly.
Which one's which? Tom?
To the left is Joel Silver with a huge hook nose.
Yeah.
And there you have Andy Wachowski, who claims to be the writer. They said that Joel Silver was their leader, fearless leader in the Matrix ripoff. And there's Matrix loaded behind him. He's at the premiere. There's Joel Silver. So Rankin and them saying he had nothing to do with it, it's rank speculation that Joel Silver had anything to do with the Matrix. I think this says a lot, doesn't it? Next slide. Lorenzo Bonaventura is the one that said right here that he still claims that he discovered and shepherded, including discovering and shepherding the Matrix into production and the purchase of the rights to Harry Potter, Warner Brothers. That's who I pitched it to, Lorenzo di Bonaventura. And that's where that tape comes in handy, where the guy, his friend, Lenny Coco, who was at the home, had me pitch it in full, remembered every detail. So they said that Warner Brothers, they say that in their arguments that Joel Silver and Lorenzo di Bonaventura never met. Well, there they are meeting with their own girlfriends. There's Joel Silver on the right, and there's the man on the left, Bonaventura, who said he discovered and shepherded the Matrix story in 1993 when I put it in. Think they got a week argument? They messed with it. It's like that Tony Stark episode, where Iron Man, when he starts showing the whole film of them testing the robot when they said nothing to do with it. So here you go. Here's a submission letter. After that pitch session with Lorenzo di Bonaventura, where he says he claimed and shepherded, he actually ran to an Albany bank and said, I discovered the greatest story ever. A clerk called me later from the bank and told me. So here you have our storybook. So June 25th, 1993, we have complete proof, certified letter return receipt from James Boyd of Norfolk, attorney, submitting it to Warner Bros. Address right there. Diane Bellis and Lorenzo Bonaventura said, send it to my friend Elizabeth. It says care of Elizabeth. So it would get into the hands of the head of the story department, Diane Bellis, and sends everything. And guess what? At the bottom we have here, guys, tracking number and receipt. He had all the files. Now, Rankin said that he called James Boyd and he had nothing, so you have no case. He was desperate. I called James Boyd. He had everything and sent this to me, affidavit, signed, notarized, the original script, had everything in his files. Isn't this great? Okay, so I talked about that inserted material, right? Here's the data sheet from the interrogation scene where they stuck everything in. You may have seen this before, but it's all squared here. My birthday on the top, or what it was changed to in 1996, was July 22nd. My name, Thomas A. My fiance's birthday in the yellow. Neo's birthday is her birthday, March 11th. You got Capital City, the city I chose, which is Washington, D.C. in the original work. Michelle McGay is the art director in the brown highlighting boxing. That's the art director who the Wachowskis blamed for putting my personal information in. They didn't negate it. They blamed her. And then John A., my dad's name as Neo's dad. My marital status is in blue. Mike High School, Central West High, is in green. Owen Patterson, the other person that Wachowski's blamed for sticking it in, is the production manager. My aptitudes are in yellow. In pink, you see TA 4099. TA, Tom Althouse, was 4099. 380 in blue is numerology for taking your most cherished worldly possessions to help you prepare for your death. And the Wachowskis said they were numerology. Any questions on this?
No. In the film, Neo's birthday is September the 11th.
No, on the passport, yes, but they double dipped it. So what you have is right here, yes, you have two birthdays for Neo because they wanted the joke. So you're right. They put it on the passport as September 13 and 9/11's in there, but September 13 is on the passport. And then they do this. Let me blow it up real quick. Okay, let's go over. There. Do you see that under the blue box, under author's name, right in the center? I'll put it dead center. With a beautiful picture of Otika Ball down the left, you'll see 11 March upside down.
Yeah.
11 March is her birthday. My fiance's birthday that was at the pitch session is the second birthday for Neo. So Neo suddenly was born on 2 days because they wanted to make this joke. Get it?
Wow.
Unbelievable, isn't it? That's why they double named him too. They gave him the name Thomas A. and Neo to mock the author. Double birthday, double name. You're on fire, by the way, Stu. Here's another great question. So Thomas A., there's Chico. And if you go to the side, my birthday, something like blow this up again. Okay, see the clock in the lower right?
Yeah.
That's from Animatrix. Remember I said they used up the rest of the story? That's why you have the Animatrix shot at the same time as 2 and 3 of Matrix, second and third installments. So they made it up off that visual storyboard. So what you have is 7, 2, 1 dot before the 60, right? And let's blow up my license real quick. I'll try to hurry along for you here. Oh, goodness gracious. It just jumped out on me. Okay, let me blow up again. I'm going to try to blow it over. Okay, see my birthday on the bottom there? On my license, that's my license. Watch this. Okay, so we got 7-2, 1 before the 60s, 59, 7-2, 59 in black on the clock, filling the screen. My birthday is what in the yellow box in the bottom?
7-2.
59.
59.
Yeah. Now, you're in an industry where the clocks usually show 10 after 10, smiling hands, 10 after 10. It's an industry standard. for copyright violation purposes to prevent it. So, and you also have the 555 in the phone numbers. I'm 555, I'm 555, I'm 555.
Right.
Well, this was the standard. It suddenly changed with this graphic. Suddenly now you see 72 all over clocks and everything from, oh God, Lord, everything has it. Walking Dead, God, you name it. Good Place, it's all there. 72 is everywhere. Even in advertisement, they're using 72 now. So it's safer to use my birthday now on the clocks than what was before for avoiding copyright violations because they threw my case, but now we know they didn't. So all these people, every industry out there now, every film they've shot is now in copyright violation with its original author when we claim Matrix. Think of it. Wow. Isn't this incredible?
Wow.
Yes. That's why your program is so huge right now. We're finally bringing this forward. See my high school diploma? Central West. We called it, it says Central West High School West. We called it Central West High. They use what we call it. And in the deposition, I was wondering, why were they kicking off with the attorney, the classmate from Rankin, going, Bucks, right? Bucks. No, we didn't go around saying we go to Bucks High School. We said we went to Central West High School. That's why they put Central West in there. And let's, you can see it right there, right in that bottom entry. I'm going to go over again. Wait, sorry, guys. Let me see if I can be a little more efficient. Okay, here we go. Okay, right there. It's a little faded, but you look at the school, right under the ugly mug of Owen Patterson, you're going to see Owen Patterson High, which was the joke. Name a high school after the guy that's ripping us off, right? The graphic designer. And then have Central West Junior High, tweak it that way, which all this has to go through a clearance department anyway. And the graphic designer for Warner Brothers, Susanna Bolgen, in an article said, we stack it. We stack the entries in to get by the clearance department. They got all these entries in. My name, my high school, my dad's name, all that got through the clearance department. And so we got Central West High clearly there. And you see the entry from the Matrix itself, art director Michelle McGahee, Owen Patterson, right there. Okay, so makes sense? All these entries, right? Let's proceed. Any questions?
Not the moment.
So let's look at how he objects to, I'm sorry, so I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I just said not at the moment.
Okay, let's move on. Let's go back to the deposition. Now, we know that Rankin's supposed to protect Joel Silver, right?
Right.
A defense attorney with suspended license who's classmates with their attorney to protect Joel Silver. So he's been objecting to Silver being named and said rank speculation. Now, they're the ones that told me that I can't claim Matrix, right? I can't claim Matrix, which is going to throw our case. And that's Sophia Stewart coming and working with Rankin. Sophia Stewart calls me and says the same thing. You're the missing link. Don't claim Matrix 1. That's all to throw the case later when they say what we saw in that first TikTok clip that we just discovered, right? Matrix never claimed. So the question was, is there a reason why you did not include the original Matrix here? Now, if I was allowed to answer without my attorney interrupting me, I would have said, well, my attorney said I couldn't. So Rankin's going to head that off, isn't he? So before I even get a chance to speak, he says, well, I'm going to object to that question to the extent that it calls for work product and deterring client communications. How does that benefit me? He's the only reason I didn't claim Matrix. He's not going to let me say it. He's objecting to me even answering. Then he continues, if there's anything, Mr. Althouse, that answers that you don't feel consistent of your work product on this case with me in our communications, then you can answer. Otherwise, to preserve the privilege, I'll instruct you not to answer that. Well, you know what? The privilege is supposed to be to my benefit.
That's right.
That the privilege, as you see right here, right, is to work against me. So if I'm to answer this question, I can't answer the question because the answer is my attorney told me not to claim Matrix. That's the only reason. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So I go, understood when I'm completely confused. I'll go with the attorney's advice. Remember, Lisa, what you just pointed out earlier? You're going to trust
that's the person that's supposed to be, right. They're supposed to be your advocate.
Right. Is he?
Doesn't sound like it.
Every objection is for him. Go ahead, Stu. Sorry.
It doesn't appear so, obviously.
Obviously, right?
Yeah.
Nudge, nudge, right? Yeah. And so Miss Burrow goes, so just for the record, you don't have any information. And she burns Rankin right here for the record. They're jousting with each other, even though they're a den of thieves on the same team. They're jousting with each other. Because look at this entry, she says. Just for the record, you don't have any information other than what you learned from your attorney as to why the original Matrix is not included as part of your lawsuit, correct? I do not know at this time. I'm being blindsided. Right there, she sets us up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The answer is yes. Yes. other than what my attorney told me is absolutely correct. There are den of thieves destroying each other. Now, let's go to some important evidence. Any questions on what you just saw? A deposition that was to railroad the attorney, or railroad the client, and work for Joel Silver and Warner Brothers. Any thoughts?
And Tom, what year was that deposition?
That was in 2013, right when the case is being thrown. They do mine, but they never do. They never allow me depositions of them. I hope we have time for this, but you ready for this? Are there questions on that?
No.
Okay. So they had run out the clock. He had run it out first, not giving us the contract, ran out the statutes, disappeared on vacation, unreachable, appears the day after the due date and says, I guess we lost. We say, maybe we discovered a little later. They already know we didn't because they had cited that, later that they had the 2009 entry where we discovered that point. So they did successfully run it out. That's why they would go ahead and have us file to get access to all our information, to throw it and shut us down so no other attorneys could do it and have that legal contract bind us. So let's go to this. Is there matchups in the Matrix? This which establishes for those of the newcomers. This is from the original Immortal screenplay, which keep in mind, they didn't copyright the Matrix title ever. They copyrighted Immortals. So internal, again, a shooting script, Tunneler Underground. A young driver is having a blast operating the tunneler and playing loud music. He watches a screen showing the strolling map in green with blips on it. That's what I wrote before Matrix was ever conceived. There you see from the screenshot from Matrix, the young driver having a blast, listening to loud rock music with the headphones on, watching the green scrolling blips to navigate the ship. And the hole in the back of the neck. Pretty wild?
Yeah.
So do we have matchups? Yes, this would win the case right here. Just this page 110. Let's go on. Then Rankin does this. Now, would we all agree that if you're going to do depositions, it's best to be in the room with the respondents and to be able to video them and record them and see their facial reactions and reactions to your questions? Would we agree that's a good way to do it?
Probably.
Yeah. Right. So let's see what Rankin says. First of all, Warner Brothers had sent a message, an email to Rankin after Rankin had sent an email saying, I want to do telephonic depositions. They sent an email right afterwards saying, we want to do telephonic to only telephonic, and we will only do it that way, because they instructed him to write that as the in-house attorney. I caught them dictating to him in the office that I wrote one time. So this says, I will not be doing face-to-face depositions with any of the defendants. This is responding to me saying, I want to do this. If you want to do face-to-face depositions, then do them yourself. I'll arrange telephone depositions of all three, which is Warner Brothers, the Wachowskis, because he said Joel Silver has nothing to do with it. He doesn't want to do it. And then he adds that he will do it only if he gets written discovery from him, but he never turns it in on time. So he's protecting Joel Silver 100%. And he even calls me delusional for saying a couple times that Joel Silver was involved at all. We just saw that he's the main guy in control of Matrix. Okay, if you wish to pay for videotaping, that's your prerogative, but I don't think it's necessary. You may submit questions to me in advance that you would like. Well, how am I going to videotape, first of all, when I'm not even there? It's on a telephone. What's that going to do? You may submit questions to me in advance that you would like asked. You may sit with me during depositions, but may only write notes to me, not talk to me while on the record. I will take a break to check with you about any unanswered questions before concluding each deposition, but then watch what Warner Bros. Had him add. You cannot force me to ask any particular question at the depositions. I will focus primarily on the Wachowski sources of inspiration and the timeline in which they created the Matrix story and scripts. On the latter point, we will know more after getting written discovery, which he never sends in. We never get. At this point, I'm not focused on Bound, which was the addition piece for them, which was a Joel Silver relationship, or the Joel Silver relationship. But as I said, we will see what he says in interrogatories, responses, unless his responses indicate that Matrix had something to do with his termination of his relationship with WB, or unless he was involved in the creative process for Matrix movies. I will have very little to ask him. As you know, I have a different view of the case than you do. If I continue as your counsel, I will base my strategy and my deposition questioning on my own theory of my case, not yours. See where that legal contract comes in? I'm not even allowed to disagree with him.
So this, just so I understand, this letter that came to you from Rankin, this was,
There's a date right there.
Yeah, like what was this was after
depositions. Depositions were in 2013. This is February 17, 2014 at 4:22 p.m.
And so let me just, this because you asked him, like, now what's the next step? Where do we go from here?
Good question. I've been pushing it. I want depositions of them from the very beginning. 3 years before this, I've been saying I want depositions of them, and they would never give me depositions of them. They kept saying no. Now at the deadline, we got only 30 days left.
Okay.
Not enough time to even have interrogatories from him. He's still saying he's going to hedge on doing depositions. Keep in mind, it's a great question you just asked, Elise, because what they do then is they say, well, we're not going to do depositions. And then they said, I got an email later, and Rankin was unreachable again, got an email later where it said, Linda Brose is waiting to board the plane for telephonic depositions. What? You said they weren't happening. And then they said that, oh, since you're not ready and not doing, then you can't have depositions in the future of them because you just refused us when I was ready to get on the plane. What? You told us they weren't happening. And keep in mind, you just made me think of something. Inclusive in this is a talk where he said, I will only ask soft questions. That was coined during Bush's administration. Soft questions.
Yes, I remember.
Remember? And soft questions is defined as prepared questions ahead of time that are easy to answer, which won't cause any problem or draw critical view or expose anything. So soft questions only for an hour each. Forget the 7.5 hours I went through, or 7 hours. They're going to get an hour only with what he asked, which is only about the creative process, not about the inserts or anything else. Nothing that's into our. See what's going on here? And then he says about Boyd, if Boyd doesn't have the files, and he said that he had talked to Boyd and didn't find that he didn't have anything, therefore you don't have a case. You lied to me. You're a federal prosecution against you for lying to your attorney. Boyd had everything, as you saw. Now, when he said he's going to do face-to-face depositions only, he gets a letter from Warner Bros. Saying, hi, Anthony, we will not object to your request to able to take telephone. He sends it in against my wishes. We will, because I'm bound by his contract. We will not object to your request to be able to take telephonic depositions in this action, although we reserve the right to object to any deposition that is noticed on any other ground. They're saying, like, good job, Tony. You put in what we said, telephonic, forced your client through a legal contract. Now we're going to back it up by saying we agree to that. We'll not object to it. We'll not object to it. And that's all that we'll agree to, what we told you to force on your client. Now, this is credible. So the stipulation order is very, very important. What you see here, I'm going to race through it so I don't tie you guys up. There was a stipulation order that was done. Let me cut out of this real quick and go to it. Stipulation ploy catch. I want you to see this real quick. Okay, let's go over. So as an email, I find something out and I go, wait a minute, what is going on? This email accidentally was sent to me by Rankin. He was probably too excited. So you can see what's going on here. It's not very smart. And so what it says is, Craig, we've reviewed the proposed protective order. This is how evidence will be conducted during trial, how it'll be handled. And explained to our client, he never contacted me. He had one concern. What concern? Which is to make sure that the agreement does not prevent us from using protected information. The case goes to trial. If I can answer that question definitively and make sure we are in agreement on that answer, then I will no problem with this agreement. I've not even been told about this agreement. The only paragraph that talks about use of confidential documents at trial is trial paragraph 19, which says, in the event that this matter proceeds to trial, this is very important. If any party seeks to introduce information designated as confidential or highly confidential, attorney's eyes only. Not for judge, jury, or me. Only for the attorney that's planted, working for them, and their attorneys. Wow. Because they didn't have any working drafts. This is the way you bury it. The parties shall meet and confer regarding whether and if so, in what manner such information can be used and presented at trial, which was to be done on item by item. So we never would get anything. Plus, they admitted on tape at Rankin's deposition of me that they had no working drafts. My understanding is this discovery, this is from Rankin. My understanding is this does not designate control of what documents. So what he's doing is putting in a clause afterwards to say, okay, I'm protecting my butt. That is this ever revealed as fraudulent. That I said, my understanding is this, that we'll come to agreements later. Okay, great. So go to the next part. I see this by accident. And what happens? I respond. Of course I respond. The only time I ever did. Hi, Anthony, Sam. I appreciate the effort you both have continued to devote toward legitimizing my credibility and claims in this case. Blah, throw up. For the record, I absolutely refuse. Now it's in writing. I absolutely refuse to give my consent to signing any form of confidentiality agreement at this stage of discovery. My team and I strongly feel that there is no valid reason for all information related to this case not to be entered into public record. Once I'm satisfied that the positions have been served to Joel Silver, Lana Wachowski, Anna Wachowski, and Warner Brothers, as well as the other parties we have previously named, I'll be more than amenable to considering questions of partial or full confidentiality on an item-by-item basis. Many thanks for this, blah, blah, blah. You think Rankin's going to be happy? He throws a ballistic. Tom, I left you a voicemail. He was chewing me out. Please call me. In the meantime, he's doing this. He's sending this for the other firm to see. Do not CC opposing counsel anymore under any circumstances. I need to be the middleman of all communication between you and the other side. That's how it works when I'm your lawyer, period. No room for discussion on the point. Anthony, under general situations, yes. But if you're saying I saw this and agreed to it and we're going to have attorney's eyes only, you're going to get a response. And it needs to be on record. And then he writes to Craig immediately.
Tom, can I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
Like, when did you start to really, really feel? I mean, you had these,
right?
Feel that, oh my God, I'm getting shafted here.
When he refused to do discovery of Warner Brothers, which is not that early on, when I finally saw some of the things that were transpiring, it's a great question, very good question. And I really knew it at my deposition.
So your response at that time, because this is obviously all the
this is preliminary to that discovery. Yeah, right. I had not known.
And you can see it. I mean, he's
railroading me.
He's not only that, but there is like a definite aggressiveness.
Yes.
He's hostile. There's a hostility, right?
Yes, thank you.
I mean, I've dealt with lawyers. We've all dealt with lawyers in one way or another. That's not how they work with their clients. They tell them when, maybe you're getting your hopes up about something and they try to give you a reality break, but they don't openly oppose or kind of belittle you or take this like authority position in such a nasty way.
You're right. And that's so important what you just said, because they're doing it in front of their attorneys. And you led right into this because they're going to do this in the email. He's going to show this email to them to show that I'm not on Tom Althouse's side, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So now let's just backtrack for 1 second. So the screenplays, taken stolen from you. Right. You then go to you want to kind of sue or whatever Warner Brothers for stealing it, correct?
Well, yeah, Rankin told me to. He told me to. He came and approached me and said I should do this.
So he approached you.
He approached me to do it.
And so the reason, I mean, let's just say the obvious. The reason is that they meaning the studio that ripped you off, wanted to preempt you going out and getting your own attorney who was going to say this is a slam dunk and we'll kill these 100%. People in court. And so they made someone approach you like you're just the stupid artist and, you have this great case and I want to help you. And meanwhile, it was all a setup from the start so that you could get no further in court because of.
So important. But you just said, because you know what happened? I was told law schools were following this. I had top firms contact me after they approached me.
Really?
And did this. Top firms called me and said, oh, if only we'd known it earlier, we would have taken this and won this for you. So you're absolutely spot on with your assessment. This was exactly what they were doing, throwing their own guy to control that this would never come out and make sure it's thrown to make sure it never came out. And
Can I just ask a quick question? As well, just going back a little bit? When he disappeared and he was non-contactable, and then he came back and basically said, I guess we lost, on that day. What are the legal ramifications of that? Because everyone can see how blatant that was.
It's such a great question, Stu. And here's the shocker. If you ask any attorney without going over all this stuff in thorough way, they'll say, well, you slept on your rights. Well, you should have known. Well, it's already done. Well, it's been ruled on. Our system's broken. Yeah. It's completely broken. That's why big business does this and justifies the means. They can do, and it's a great question you just asked. You both did. It's like they're doing this because they can. That's their answer, they say, because we can. If we do this and even cheat you every way with no due process whatsoever, all gamemanship, fraud, break-ins, theft, coercion, we can do it because we can, because in the end, no one will touch it.
Yeah. Not to digress, but I want to just explain a very, very quick thing that happened to me when you say about the system being broken. Yeah. So during my post-divorce issues, right? My ex-husband wouldn't pay. He was an attorney. He knew how the system worked. He didn't even have to pay an attorney full, right? Because they're going to give him courtesy. Anyway, we had a court date and he owed me money.
Right.
Of course, he claimed I owed him money. I don't know how the non-moneyed spouse owes the moneyed spouse money, but that's a whole other thing. Yeah. But anyway, we have a court date that we're given, And he claims that he wants to change the court date because he has COVID. And so the judge says, well, I'm not changing the date, but what we'll do is we'll do a virtual meeting conference. Right. Now, I don't have an attorney, and his attorney knows, but his attorney and the attorney's office knew how to contact me to let me know that they were sending me a document, to let me know that they were doing this, to let me know they were the attorney of record. Well, as soon as the judge said, we're going to do this online, I contacted his attorney's office and said, because I had already spent $15,000 prior with an attorney and lost because of all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And now nobody's answering me. They're not telling me how I get online. They're not giving me a link for this Zoom session. Okay. I contact, because I don't know what to do and I don't know the rules because I'm not a bar association attorney. I contact the office of the judge saying, I have this conference coming up and I don't have a link. And I get berated in an email that I have no right as being, not being an officer of the court, to reach out to the judge. And that's it. So now I'm waiting, I'm texting and emailing the office. Guess what happens? I'm a no-show.
Right.
And it gets ruled against me and I lost the case.
I love to do, I milked you guys so badly, but I'd love to do a show sometime where we go over that very thing. They did that a couple times in our situation. They had a motion to compel where they had a handoff attorney lined up too. That paralegals were related to Lenny Coco back with the pitch session with
okay.
And so, and they said this thing where there's a clerk told me there was going to be a motion to compel on me that I wasn't aware of. Their firm was telling me that everything was in order. Meanwhile, they're giving them back-to-back extensions to have a motion to compel on me, their own client, working with Warner Brothers, again, like Rankin did. And so what they did was I show up in the court and there's a motion to compel against me. And it's the same judge that handled Larry Wachowski's divorce case. And I'm like, what's going on? And the Judge Tro was right there. And then the attorney that was for Rankin's group was saying, well, we know that his attorney's on vacation and unreachable, and that's why we're here. And it's his, and then called me this a-hole in front of the judge. And so the judge said there would be sanctions on me whenever I've been told everything was fine. And I go back to the office. Yeah.
I cannot wait, and I hope it's already in process, for these corrupt and these judges who are just so nefarious, for them to be dragged off.
You know
what?
George Carlin said it perfectly, didn't he? It's a big club, and you two ain't in it.
You're not in
That's
it.
Right. That's it. I love that. So that happened a couple times. I'm so sorry it happened to you. That happened to me a couple times too, where they did the same thing. And that's how they got screwed up, because the judge at that time said, and also about deposition, if he doesn't show up at depositions, then he's forfeited his case.
That's right.
And I'm like, and I said, what depositions? And then I'm told by the offices back there where they said that the attorney was unreachable. He gets on the phone with their attorney on a speakerphone prior, calling me an a-hole to the paralegal. I'm sitting right there with my family. And he's on there to complain about me because I showed up there because they're working together. And then the unreachable attorney, Ralph Rios, is on the phone and they're saying, well, the client wants to talk to you. Tom wants to talk to you. I'm unreachable. I'm on vacation. It's like, what? You just did a no-show. You know an explanation. Then he tells us that there's going to be a deposition and you're going to have a deposition, but I'm not going to tell you when and where it is. I said, well, you're my attorney, supposedly. When and where is it? No, you have to ask them. So I asked them. It's up to your attorney to tell you. So they're not going to tell me where the deposition, when and where it is. And the judge said it's going to be thrown if you're not there. And so I go to contact the judge, and then I hear from the paralegal. They're having 4 a.m. chats back and forth constantly on a Saturday to try to see what to do to snow their own client, to stop them. And that blew their chances for an MSJ, right? Because I was contacting the judge back saying this isn't right, and here's all the trail of me trying. And then what they did was an emergency ex parte. It gets worse. An emergency ex parte where they put in that the emergency was to see if we can either extend the trial date or shorten the trial date. Which is it? What's the emergency? And the judge was an intermittent judge because Judge Cho was backing out for another judge they controlled, Doyle, to enter in to throw the case. And in that intermittent judge is saying what they're doing, Tom, or Mr. Althouse, is they want to extend it so you don't have time, extend it so that they can redo the MSJ on you because they missed the deadline when they tried to throw it on you. And they want to shorten it if that doesn't work so you don't have time to get counsel.
So let me ask you a question. And I know there's so many details to this and you've shared a lot, but if we just kind of fast forward it, now that number one, you found out that the actual first matrix, right? You still have your I would say is your rights to be able to go. Don't you have an ethics complaint against the attorneys? I mean, is it?
Well, remember what the Bar Association said. They looked at all our stuff and they said, they showed me a letter. They said, we've written this letter. It's for your eyes only and Rankin's eyes only. And what we're doing is we're going to remind him not to do it again. All these violations not to do it again. And that's it. No penalties.
Okay.
Talk about dusting on the rug. Now I got a little bit to wrap up, but you want to hit this and just end it? You want to see this part? Or
no.
we
want to keep going as much as we need to. I mean, I have a hard stop at 2:30, which is
let me run it then, and please insert your thoughts, because these thoughts are great and your questions have been like brilliant. So let's keep doing that if you want, and because we can. I mean, this is like a whole nother show. We can go over,
and we can do that. We can absolutely do that, because what I want to know, like what I want everyone to know, is after all that you've been through, where is the retribution that you're going to have your day in court against these no good nicks?
Well, we have everything lined up now where attorneys are coming on free of charge. They want to see us win. When they see this stuff, they're blown away. So now it's working for us. So before it was crickets. Now it's like clamor. And it's like, so we have different people working on stuff. And I can't even go into some of the other things involved, but it's like, we've got them. And I've had them in the past whining. Their attorneys that have done all this, like Burroughs and Rankin and Arwin and all these other guys, and Ralph Rios and his group, were whining about that I'd be putting them in jail and hurting their families. That if you do this, you'll be hurting us. And the one paralegal that was on that phone during the thing was thrown was crying. My career will be over if you pursue this. Well, my son's died because of your negligence and what you did and the employees you did. It all needs to be revealed. I want to go back to that email where I said I want everything on public record. They've earned it. They've earned their jail time if it happens at a federal prison. And I hope they bust rocks.
So I'm going to ask you kind of an unrelated question, but it's sort of related. So we're looking at this very dark aspect of Hollywood and the studios and these people that are bought, and then how they're in bed with the courts and all this kind of stuff. Where do you think things are right now?
Right now, for us, it's get the cakes out, the wine, the champagne, and the celebration train. They don't stand a chance in heaven or hell. We've got them so bad that they don't know what they'll be doing. And you're going to see resignations even further. They were started before. Right now, there's nothing they can do except try to put a bullet in my head, which they threatened before. And even that won't stop it. We put in place things that it'll still go forward no matter what they do. They're done. They're caught. They're finished. And we're going to have a change of Hollywood. Even paparazzi are saying it's a whole new Hollywood now, thanks to you.
So that was actually my question. Like, you're going to get your day, right? But
without a doubt,
how much do you think has already been where these guys might be? Now, I don't mean your guys particularly, but I mean the
This
system.
may not be far from the truth. I would not be surprised. I'm not making any threats. It's not me.
Right. No, we're just saying what's out there.
But I'm saying I would not be surprised to find Rankin hanging as shark bait off a boat on Maui, chopped into pieces. I would not be surprised because he blew it so many freaking times. He blew it by handing the wrong tape recorder back in the deposition. You see during those deposition transcripts, right, where they're actually covering themselves, pre-covering themselves, because he's being too over the top aggressive on his own client. It's too obvious.
Yeah.
Rankin blew it so badly, like a failed attorney, that they have to get rid of him. They have to. So
you're saying that the dark side had to get rid of him.
I wouldn't do anything wrong, but I'm saying that the attorneys for Warner Brothers, the cabal, he'll be hanging on.
They'll take care of their own people.
Hanging on the door.
But I'm saying the white hats, the good guys that understand, look, we're not even going to go down all the rabbit holes of what was going on in Hollywood with children, with all that stuff. But do you think a lot of that has been dealt with already? I mean,
no, not entirely. No, because we would have seen the difference right now. Like, go back to what Roseanne Barr said. about Trump, you know, where she said that, you know, it's about the timing, the right timing. His whole family knows. We're calling it the greatest story. You know, so Trump's family sees this as the greatest story. That's very flattering. But the thing is, they need to do it at the right time.
Okay.
So you have a whole political activation that goes on besides the backroom agreements. So as far as the back room goes, it's been signed, sealed, and agreed that this is going to happen. But as far as the political timing, where the public learns, it hasn't been the right time yet. So that's why your program is so big here with you guys, because it's like you're putting it forward what the back room has decided. And that is a win. We're going to win. And they're already preparing the celebrations and what's going to be shown. So I'll meet the white hats at the celebrations. And right now they're just eating the popcorn. So it's like they're not supposed to, yeah. So that's basically the view of it. Yeah, they know it's a done deal.
We are seeing a lot of that, aren't we? Stuff.
Yeah. People need to realize that what you see on
public,
what you see on the screen and the TVs and stuff, except for this is the back room, what you're seeing.
Yes.
But they're seeing what hasn't been put forward to the public. That usually it's the homogenized version, which is done, which is watered down. And it's like, you know, the joke of 3 Mile Island they did in Saturday Night Live, where they show the toasters plugged into this, and that's what causes this, you know, that kind of thing. So what we're going to see right now, what you're showing right now is it's a dead ringer. It's already decided. It's already been done. History is already set. That's why Elon Musk was removed. So let me finish up with this for you and show you how Elon Musk comes in.
I was just going to say, can you go a little down that hole as far as Elon?
Let's do it, and we'll wrap for now. That'll be good. And we'll have your thoughts, because your thoughts are great, you guys. So let's go here. Let's go right and finish this up. The client response, I do want to say, he's showboating for the Warner Brothers, right? He would brag about how he wanted to give them everything they want to be done with this case with a binding contract that keeps me from doing anything. He wants me to fire him, right? Keep that in mind. He wants me to fire him so that he collects everything, right? And pleases Warner Brothers. Isn't that amazing? That's what the contract ChatGPT pointed out. So he wants me to fire him. So the email from Tom Althouse below should obviously, and he has me see this, the email from Tom Althouse below should obviously not have gone to all of you, so you may ignore it. So what they're trying to do is that remember when I said I absolutely refuse? He's trying to put in that can be ignored. That doesn't count. It does count. I said I absolutely refuse. I'll discuss the confidential agreement with my client after I get an answer from Craig. I have not had a chance to talk with Mr. Althouse about it yet. So if you go back to that original entry, he had said in the initial outset, we have reviewed the proposed protective order and I explained it to our client. See, he's caught? He's caught, isn't he? Another reason he made me hanging off a coat doorknob. Yeah, another reason. Isn't it incredible?
Yeah.
So what you see right there is him getting caught in his lie, but it gets worse. So what happens? Let me see if I can get this up here and stop it banging around. Okay, so let's go to the stipulation order. So here's what happens, guys. Ready for this?
Yeah. But Tom, can I just say something?
Go, please. Anytime, guys.
Are you really... I mean, yes, there's a possibility this guy is dumb as a rock. But the other possibility that this guy he's just being made a fool. Like, it's almost like he's being... humiliated. Yes.
That's a good point. Yes. That's a good point. They don't respect him. He's a patsy.
I mean, we don't know the whole story of him and what this could be a humiliation ritual for him too, to just right?
Go, Stu, go ahead.
Do you think it might be a setup?
Absolutely. Again, what I was thinking of during this program too is when we're discussing all these things, great questions, is that they want Rankin to get me to fire him.
Yes.
They want that because that's what this contract's set up to do. And Warner Brothers got this guy where they can use the contract against him. It's not our fault he lost his case. It's him. He did it all.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It seems he seems a little too stupid.
Yeah. I mean, in a contest against himself, I think he'd be the winner as stupid. I think he'd win against himself.
I mean, you could say, couldn't you, that guy is a white hat losing the case on purpose badly in the bigger picture to take down Warner Brothers and Hollywood as a white hat plant sort of a thing.
It would be a wonderful thought. It'd be great for the movie. But I think if he was to do that, he'd be in the movie, he'd be tripping and falling and cause a cataclysmic chain reaction domino effect where the lamppost hit their lead attorney and they, I don't think that he would have the brains to come up with a thing, because you can hear him talk. It's just comical.
But Tom, he might be controlled by the other side, even though we think he's controlled by this side. Like, this could run very deep because the plan, as we see it, is to take down these slime balls.
I think let's leave it open. Let's leave it open then.
What makes a good movie? Great acting.
I know, seriously. I mean, if Hollywood said everything has been done under the sun, we got a whole lot of new material right here. It's like, yeah. So here we go. So if we look at what happened is after this thing, this is so fun tonight. After the stipulation ploy catch thing I read, where it showed the emails, right? The emails and everything, where he's caught in his lie. He has a meeting, we have that recorded, where he's chewing me out right away, just right away, enforcing his contract, saying it's my way or the highway. My contract says this, and you better go with what I say. Calls me delusional during the meeting again. If I think Joel Silver's involved, hits me with that again. And he also says that I can't send this in without your signature. I can't do it if you don't have your signature. And I said, I'm absolutely refusing, like I said in the email, I absolutely refuse to sign this. I'm not going to do anything that says for attorney's eyes only. He said, then I can't send it in. What do you think he does, Stu? What do you think he does, Elisa?
He sends it in.
He sends it in without my signature. He sends it in. Let's take a look at what he sends in. And now get this, before I show you this, I get an email about 2 weeks later, and I get this. Well, Tom, the judge ruled mostly in our favor. Ruled mostly in our favor on what?
Right.
What? Ruled mostly in our favor? You're the one that put in you put in the whole thing, attorney's eyes only? The clerk for Judge Klausner lined out some of these things, and let's take a look at what they sent in. Now, I want to look at the language, okay? This will be really a first time ever looking at this like this. So he said he's not going to send it in without my signature. It has to have my signature. He sends it without my signature and signs it for me. Watch what happens.
Signs it for you.
Yeah, watch. This is how bad as it gets. This is how it always was. Let's blow this up. So in it goes. And the line I want you to look at right now, it's saying that we collectively, the defendants and Tom Althouse, the parties shall be referred to collectively as the parties, by and through their undersigned counsel of record, hereby stipulate and agree to the request for entry of the following stipulated order governing the production, use, and disclosure of confidential information. And I'm clueless. I don't even know this is going on. And it says all these films, right? The Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolution, referred to collectively, including the motion picture The Matrix as the pictures. Well, they're trying to include the Matrix here. They're trying to include the Matrix when they're saying the Matrix isn't claimed. I never caught that. They're trying to claim the Matrix in this illegal stipulation order that I can't call the Matrix up any evidence from the Matrix in the future. Can you believe that? I never saw that before. Do you see what I'm saying? They stuck in parentheses. Are you still there, guys?
Yeah.
Listen to this. I don't know if I lost you. It says in parentheses under statement of code of good cause, referred to collectively herein, including the motion picture, The Matrix as the pictures. They're including the Matrix when they had me not claim the Matrix for future rulings that all evidence regarding Matrix will be sealed and bound and kept from the public or any case or trial. That's illegal. Unbelievable. I never caught that before. So it says all that, and then we go to the next slide. Watch this. Oh, would result in, okay. I never caught that. So they're trying to shut down if the Matrix case does occur, that this will bind it. Well, this is totally illegal, and I never signed it.
Well, you didn't sign it. That's the key, right?
And we have the email that says I absolutely refuse. And we have the tape where I say I absolutely refuse. So this cannot hold up. What do you think? Yeah. Right? Then it says here, yeah, right? And that's going to be their big blow up point because they thought they had it. So it says here, parties considered proprietary, commercially sensitive, or private. To avoid lengthy and expensive litigation over the issue, the parties agree that a mutually appropriate protective order will speed the discovery litigation process. Therefore, the parties believe okay, here we go. The parties believe that they're including me in, which I don't. Good cause exists for designating such information confidential or highly confidential, attorney's eyes only. There it is. The only ones that can see this stuff ever is attorneys. They're bought ones and them. Can you believe this?
It's so over the top. It's hard to believe. It's not right. It's not
right. And they're hanging everything on this, aren't they? They're hanging this to stop the Matrix case. Do you think they can stop our case? Never signed it. Said absolutely refuse. Emails on tape. Meetings. Never agreed to it. Never signed it. Told I had to sign it. It's on tape. I had to sign it for it to go through. Do you think they can hold it up? This is what their whole thing is going to be. So it says here. Nothing in the stipulated protective order shall prevent any producing party from using. So if they choose to use it, they're just going to block us. If a party seeks to include or reference any protective information in filings with the court, the party must first comply with the procedures, requirements for filing under seal. So what they're saying now, you're seeing this come in now, everything's going to be sealed, and it still is to this day. What it is Warner Brothers had no working drafts. They made it on tape with Rankin handing the wrong tape recorder back, another doorknob reason. So they have no working drafts. So that's going to be sealed from the public ever learning that. So they're sealing the lack of evidence, that they don't have evidence. They're going to seal the public from learning they don't have the evidence. They don't have working drafts. You're going to seal the public from ever knowing it. And even in future litigations from any other corporations. So no party shall file any documents protecting information within complying with these procedures and filing under seal. Now watch this. Here's what's crossed out. In the event that this matter proceeds to trial, if any party seeks to introduce information designated as confidential or highly confidential, attorney's eyes only, which is insane, the party shall meet and confer regarding whether and if so, in what manner such information can be used and presented at trial. What? And the clerk writes that thing in the corner on the side. And it gives us initials. It says, the court cannot agree to stipulation regarding use of information at trial. The instant protective order is before the court for discovery purposes only. See what they're sneaking in? They're sneaking in that even at trial, attorney's eyes only evidence. Can you believe this? Does this make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Well, yeah.
I mean, in a corrupt way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Watch this.
So I want to get to the Elon, but I just want to put a little temporary bow on this for a minute, because what are the next steps? And I know if you're now going to be involved in kind of litigation, you can't give a lot of details, but like, what's the next step to getting some justice on all this?
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make the film originally copyrighted. Sophia Stewart said, you can't do that. She had a call that she gave me. She says, you can't do it. You can't make it as it is. We'll put an injunction on you. Well, that means
Sophia Stewart.
Sophia Stewart made that call. Warner Brothers used Sophia Stewart under their employ to call me. She's promised $5 to $7 million if she'll throw her cases in a letter.
What is she? She's
their inside planted plausible first claimant. They're making her a first claimant so people don't look at the second guy who came forward. That's why they hired her. And also she's a handler. She's supposed to handle me. So she calls and berates me and harasses me and says, you're the responsible death of your sons, try to get me to react and get upset. So that's her job. It's in a letter they gave her. So the same lady that was at my deposition, Kate Chilton, the architect of the theft throwing of the case, is the one that wrote the letter to Sophia Stewart saying her job was to do this. So yeah, handle me. So yeah, it's unbelievable what we got. So race this through real quick. So what answer though? Make the film, let the people see it. Let them put an injunction on it. We got them that way. If they don't put an injunction, we got them on that way too. We're doing the copyright, which precedes the Matrix even to file. ChatGPT addressed this and said, yeah, you got them all which way. The evidence has been sealed. It's unfair. It should come to light. We should resurrect this case. Have Matrix case argued. It hasn't been argued yet. Make the film, reveal the stuff, adjudicate it, and win. So basically that's it.
Okay. And so the timeline for now, will the original movie be called The Immortals?
Yes, we're going to call it The Immortals and do a tag on it. So it'll be like The Immortals, the Matrix story. Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a timeline on that?
No, right now we're educating the public. We were told the strategy is show the public the evidence Warner Brothers doesn't want seen. They'll start to fire more of their own people and run and scream and kill each other. And then what happens is literally they will. And then what happens is we go head forward and with our thin ranks and win this thing through overwhelming evidence where they won't even want to show up.
Okay, so the lawsuit essentially is going to happen first.
Lawsuit will probably follow the film.
It'll follow the film. So this is still the building awareness.
Yeah, we want them to put an injunction on us. We wanted them to do what Sophia Stewart threatened. We want to make the film exactly as it is the Copyright Office pre-Matrix, have them sue or put an injunction on us and use that as springboard for trial.
Perfect. And one more question on that. I know you've been making the rounds, obviously, on a lot of shows and with a lot of people, but I know your relationship with Roseanne is very tight, and you have a beautiful friendship. And so I would assume people like her who are having you on the show and making this aware, there has to be some, you must be getting some good traction.
Yeah, she says she wants us to win. And she said that, like she said, Trump's family knows all about it. That's a great story. She said that she wants to make the film. She wants to be on the filmmaking process of this.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
that's exciting.
She said on the air, she said, we're going to make the film.
That's
so, yeah.
amazing.
Now, let me wrap this for you real quick. These are great questions, too. It's like, to the extent, look at what's crossed out. To the extent that the conflict arises concerning the treatment level of protection afforded to certain information that is subject to different protective orders, even ones in the future, such information shall be governed and treated in accordance with the narrowest protective order, affording the most stringent protections for such information, which means that we'll be given the right to do whatever is strongest to stop you from ever seeing that we don't have evidence.
Okay.
Next. Go ahead. Sorry. You have a thought.
No. Go ahead. Continue.
There we go. So the terms here in our orders, this is very important because remember, I never signed it, never agreed to it, said absolutely refused, called all kinds of nasty names by ranking in the process. It was to please them. The terms here in our orders of the court, not merely recitals within the stuff. They're saying they're establishing the orders of the court. They're saying this is the orders of the court. What we say it is. This, even though it's twisted and wrong. This document containing the entire stipulation between the parties. This stipulated protective order can only be changed, terminated in writing, signed by each of the parties hereto and ordered by the court. Or by an order of the court, which they control. So it's saying that all of us have to sign it in order for anything to go through. By the signature of the undersigned attorneys, the parties and their counsel stipulate that they will be bound. So I'm signing what? I'm not able to sign it. My attorney is signing against my will, extreme demands not to. And it's signing that I will be bound by the foregoing provisions and further stipulate that stipulated protective order may be signed, filed, and entered by the court. Really? Then quickly, let's race it. If any wants to file, this is talking about future events, anything, it will not, you can't do it in the future. Cases in 3030 can't be argued with this. Everything's sealed in perpetuity. In perpetuity, they say. Isn't that incredible? That I can find that in here. So it's like, yeah. Anyway, so it's in here. The binding in perpetuity. It's over there. A, 20A. The terms of the stipulated protective order shall be binding in perpetuity on all persons designated in paragraph 67, which means me. All obligations and duties arising under the stipulated protective order shall survive the termination of this action. Well, that's optimistic. Yeah, so there you go. So council record, yeah. And anybody in the future. And here we go to the nasty part. So this is me speaking, which I didn't see, never knew about, said I absolutely refuse to have. This is to certify that I, the undersigned, have read and fully familiar with the provisions. The stipulated protective order filed and entered in the case, Althouse, Warner Brothers, whatever, as a condition precedent to the disclosure to me of any confidential information pursuant to the stipulation protective order or my obtaining any information contained in said material, I hereby agree that the stipulated protective order is binding upon me. So I never saw it, absolutely refused to say I would sign it, never wanted it, didn't know it was going in, and it's being signed that I agree that this is binding upon me. And I further agree to keep all such material information as strict as confidence. Can't talk. And otherwise to observe, comply with, and be bound by the provisions of the stipulated protective order. I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. And there you see how it's signed. Am I signing it? I don't see my signature. It says Anthony L. Rankin by email authorization. Lazy bastard. Email authorization. Attorney for plaintiff. For good cause shown, she enters in there. Wow, okay. So look at this. And Gary Clauser didn't want to sign it because he knows it's illegal. He was appointed by Bush.
Wait, who is he?
Gary Clauser was the first President Bush appointee with Pat Robertson to district court in California. He was assigned to throw this case. So he doesn't sign this order. He has his clerk sign it.
Wow.
See what's happening here? And then here we go one more time. And then we'll wrap it up with the Elon stuff. So Anthony L. Rankin dated November 26, 2013 by email. Again, plaintiff. And look what happens. Gary doesn't even sign it and doesn't have his clerk sign it. But he puts it through.
Wow.
Because it's too damning for Gary Clauser, appointed by Bush and Robertson.
And it went through?
It went through. It went through.
With no signature.
Gary Klausner put it.
And it's on record? Like
on record.
They're fucked.
Like this guy. So let's go to this. Any questions first on that before we proceed?
No, but wow.
Now let's go. Wow. Elon Musk was a failed engineer, just like the Wachowskis are failed writers.
What? Okay, so let me just backtrack. Does he have any relation to the whole Project Paperclip and his father and all of that?
Yes, in fact, he does. In fact, his home, ancestral home, is my ancestral home.
Okay.
It was done on purpose. Bern, Switzerland.
Okay.
So we're both related to Bern, Switzerland as our ancestral home. Mine happens to have the castle, Treacle Castle, and a lake and forest and everything like that. So my mom was Swiss royalty. His wasn't. He was more like the guy that was doing the shoemaking. But his ancestors came over the same time my ancestors came over on a boat in 1600s. They both end up in Pennsylvania, according to the documents. They end up in Doylestown. His great-great-grandfather, somebody is buried in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. How about that? That's where my high school is. It's Central West High, Doylestown, Pennsylvania.
So what's with the accent and the whole South African thing?
I think what the ancestral home is Bern, Switzerland. The family then migrates out, right? And the great-great-grandfather goes to Pennsylvania, where mine went. Same place, same way, probably on the same boat. But the thing is that what you got is this was all put in place a long time. Right. His other family, he gets down to South Africa, and England's involved, which is England's the main culprit in the whole thing going on with America. So ever since the World War II was done, they didn't want to ever lose power. Operation Paperclip, like you said. And one more thing, where did Alan Dulles set shop up? CIA, when he was trying to get Goering even over here and other top Nazis, Bern, Switzerland. So in Bern, Switzerland, the ancestral home of Elon Musk and myself, what we're seeing, also is where Alan Dulles set up during the World War II, at the end of World War II, around 1944-45, to get the Nazis out, was Bern, Switzerland. So do you think they want to make me the face of the Christian coalition, Swiss royalty descendant? And also use Elon Musk. We look like we're descended from we have the same European features. Right. And so what happens is they pick him to replace me. He becomes the face of. And what's the job of the face of? The face of is supposed to mislead you with the boyish looks to get people to go along with whatever agenda is going on. And you're supposed to go like this, especially the ladies. Oh, he has such a nice face. He seems like such a nice guy. He can't have done anything wrong. Right. That's a strategy.
Now, Elon was involved with the Christian coalition. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, he's involved in that also. Fitzpatrick is. They're all tied together. Maybe not on paper, but yes, Robertson met with Bush, the same one as they appointed Gary Klausner. They met together at Robertson's place before they launched that storm war, the endless war. So he met with Robertson first before it was launched. Also, what was it called? The Faith Initiative Acts, that was done for Pat Robertson. So when Bush gets into office, they do the Faith Initiative Acts, which paid about $1 million some to Robertson as soon as Bush got in office. So it went to him as a faith-based contribution. And the last thing Bush did basically was give another whole thing from the Faith Initiative Acts to Robertson, another big couple $1 million payoff when he left office. So yes, Elon's involved in the whole thing. Yes. The families are all connected, one small little circle.
So they took him as a young man. He was an engineer, you said, failed engineer.
Yeah.
And then they
approached him with Warner Brothers and Paramount. Yeah. No.
And how? To do what?
I'll show you how. Let me show you them doing it, and I'll explain why. Can I show you them doing it first?
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Here we go.
Absolutely. It can be.
Great. Make it us.
Okay. Mr. Musk. How are you?
Congratulations on the promotion.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Those Merlin engines are fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, good idea for an electric jet.
You do.
Yeah.
Then we'll make it work.
What you just saw there was they made him look stupid too. Electric jet is kind of stupid. That is not going forward. They're going backward in technology. Electric jet has to have a whole lot of batteries to hold the power, and all that battery is going to be weight. You might as well use fuel, and also you a lot of troubleshooting with electricity. Electricity can have a lot of problems go wrong while you're in the flight, and helps you're in trouble. Unless you're mounting a whole fuel system on there as a backup, which is going to add weight anyway and take it past the fuel-operated one with jet engines. So the electric
and they're mocking because of all the whole thing with electric cars, right? So
yeah, it's so absolutely dumb.
But
so anyway, what you got is
different than the current guy. Just saying.
Well, yeah, I got you. Well, this is 2010, basically. So what happens is, remember I said the Wachowskis said they wanted to do Jackson Deck for real? Remember that?
Yes.
Right, which is in the first question I'm asked during the deposition is by Warner Bros. Basically is, you don't have they really didn't make a question. It was more a statement. You don't have Jackson Neck in your screenplay. I opened blindly, like I said before, I opened blindly and there was Jackson Neck. So Neuralink is all through Matrix. It's published. It's there. They also argued you didn't publish it. I made clear, yes, it was published. So I have a published Neuralink entries. That means I can claim. So when they gave the work and trying to steal and steal all that, the Wachowskis were given the work in 1995, 96 to steal. They were the candidates to take it. And they announced right away on the air, we want to do Jackson Neck for real, which means they want credit for the tech and the money they could get from that, as well as the story. Meanwhile, Warner Bros. Slaps them back. But first, Warner Bros. Has to groom the actual candidate, which is Elon Musk. So they put him on the show to show a grooming process. And Elon Musk ate it up with spoon and fork. He was like, okay, literally, there he is sitting at the dining table. It's like, you go ahead and groom me. I'll get credit. Fantastic. It'll be worth a fortune. And your wife can run the company. Here we go now with the next part, which is the shaming. Are we ready or any questions? There's an agenda for Neon Musk. I call him Neon. Elon Musk to do when he's given this. There's a reason they're hiring him, just like they hired the Wachowskis to take the work. There's an agenda for him to do, and it's even darker than the Wachowskis' agenda, which involves the one world society. The White Hats know. Watch.
Create a landing rocket only due to Sheldon's notebook.
Elon, the CNN reporter's here to talk to you.
Hang on.
Okay. CNN's owned by Warner Brothers. CNN catches Elon Musk stealing the rocket tech from young Sheldon on the program, which Warner Brothers controls. And they have Elon featured himself, a shaming ritual, stealing tech. They're showing him stealing tech, people. That's the shaming process, like Will Smith getting slapping thing. So we got grooming in 2010. We got this a little later with this, the shaming. You will obey yourself. We will give you this tech. He hasn't claimed Neuralink yet. But they're going to control it and show a trail where we are in control of it. We own Neuralink, says the studios. We're going to let him have it. If he gets out of line and doesn't do what we want, then we'll snap it back from him. He's back to being a podunk engineer failure. Doesn't get laid. So here we go, which is what
so
is
how does
Go
so
ahead.
let me ask you, I want to see this, but I just want to ask you, so how does he elevate? In other words, he was just how do I say this?
He's a failure.
But he's now with the White Hats.
We're going to get to that in a second.
Okay. Sorry.
Don't you
Jumping
worry.
ahead.
We'll get to, no, I'm not chastising. I'm just saying that it's on the trail.
Okay.
Okay, but we're timelining. But it's a good question. It says you're on it. So we just saw grooming, shaming. Now we're on Star Trek Discovery. Now watch what happens here. Season 1, episode 6. This is basically 2016, 2017. Now we're going to give him the tech, but first we're going to flatter him. They do this all the time. Those that have been through it know it. First you're flattered, then you're given it while you're being flattered, so you'll stay true and loyal to those that are handlers. So now Paramount is going to run Star Trek Discovery, not Warner Bros. But the exec that I submitted to, that handled my submissions at Warner Brothers, goes over to Paramount. She's there now, Paramount. She becomes the exec to do this very thing. And watch if you can hear what happens.
How do you want me to remember the history? Alongside Wright brothers, Elon Musk, Stephen Cochran.
Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you want to be remembered? As the greatest in history, the Wright brothers, Zefram Cochrane, or whatever the name is, the Star Trek guy who first developed warp drive, or Elon Musk. And we're going to throw this in too. Watch. Musk Junior High. You remember mine? CB Central West. We're going to throw in the high school too and make it a junior high. So we're naming them just like they did with me. They're going to also put the school in there with his name on it, just like they did with me, my school, and they're going to have the main character that talks about him. It's also on the monitor, Musk Junior High. She went to that school. Are we getting the picture? Now get the idea here. So what we have is Elon Musk is given the tech. And in Star Trek Discovery, you've got this going on. You've got them saying neuroenhancer. The main character that goes to Elon Musk Junior High says neuroenhancer. Oh, this is about the neuroenhancer. She says it twice.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I called it, guys, in my screenplay, neuroenhancer. It's in my notes and everything, neuroenhancer. And then in the same episode, they switch it to neuronal link. And pay attention. Musk never came up with the name. Paramount did. The Cabal did. He didn't even come up with the name, the schmuck, who wants to sleep with as many women as possible. spread his seed. He didn't even come up with it. But he'll take everything he can get, including the women. So
is that all true? All those baby mamas and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
He wants to be a Genghis Khan. So he's not a genius. He's got a very simple mind. And they put the South African accent to make it, correct me if I'm wrong, Stu, but do most Americans think that the British accent makes people sound intelligent?
Yeah.
So if you're dumb as a brick and you got the British accent,
yeah. And it's charming
yeah,
to Americans.
And the boyish face that I had to be the face of. So there he is standing by the president, the very man that has Warner Brothers with their agenda. And the Warner Brothers agenda is that we are all dark, that we're all evil at our core, that there is no good people, that we're this way. We need to face it. And that's where the transgender comes in. That's where we're going to have a one world society and a one world order where we realize we're all dark. And whenever Elon holds up the X figure or says X means final solution. Back to your question about his affiliations, that's back to our ancestral home at Bern, Switzerland. With Alan Dulles there, the final solution was going to be done on most of us. Deplete the population to have a sustainable world where an elite have a utopia, basically, and a subservient class to serve them, which are pretty people, boys and girls. And what you're going to have is the X is the final solution. He's flashing in front of your face all the time. X, 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 X. They not only absorb the whole Nazis, they absorb their agenda. And that's going to make a sustainable planet, which Gates was planning on too. What happened on Maui was a practice platform. Can we get a utopian elite community by buying up even their historic land and making sure we have a subservient class serving us? Maui is a model for what's to come across the planet. A subservient class serving the elite. I'm actually told I'll be part of that class, the elite, because they want me to see that I failed. Remember Spock in Star Trek also, where he's supposed to watch his planet destroyed? And it's that series where they have the Romulan commander, puts him on the planet to watch his planet destroyed. That's what they want for me in my life. So I will be, as the plan goes, in the elite, one world society to watch everyone be eliminated, that I failed to save them with a work that I wrote, Whispering Through Art, to do so.
But in comes the white hats and the plan. And so is this another example of putting someone front and center like he did with Fauci?
Yes. Because here's what Roseanne told me. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go back to what she said. So this picture is such a great picture to end with. There's the schmuck whose small brain is thinking about having sex with women around the world, spreading a seed, getting more descendants. That's going to hurt our planet. I don't mean to pick on the children, but his brain being passed on is not going to help our planet. It's more like idiosyncrasy with toilet seats on your couch. But what you're going to have is Trump standing there. Roseanne said that Trump's waiting for the right time, that he knows the whole thing with Elon, that he was waiting for the right time and knows our story is the greatest, that I will be put back in place and be able to succeed. So look at his handout and look at Elon. The theme in the piece is man tries to outwit God, God outwits man. Man is allowed to do what they want, thinking they're winning. Elon thinks he's winning. Trump knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Two things.
Yeah. Let me go back to you guys now. Yeah.
Two questions.
Yeah. One thing I want to show you, I forgot. That's what, sorry, Stu, that was what returned to my home. 2 days before Easter, again, that's what was restored to my home. The original drafts. Remember, they didn't want any original drafts, and Rankin had stolen them all from me as being his client. And they were all returned onto my bedroom, on my bed, all my working drafts that are pre-96. And that one with the little gold drawing of a clip where I was learning how to clip it was from 93. So we have all the working drafts restored by what Michael Jacobs said was the film department of the CIA is now on our side. Talking about white hats.
Oh, wow.
And with that, sorry,
that
Stu.
That just gave me chills.
I want to throw that in. So let me get out of share. Let me see if I can get out of share. Prompt me just so I can actually have you guys back.
Yeah, two things. Because do you know that, number one, I believe this whole electric agenda is a setup designed to fail, because people are being shown, and I believe there's a lot being worked on behind the scenes with hydrogen and flying cars.
Lots are being worked on.
I believe this.
That's why I'm still alive. That's why I'm still alive.
Electric cars, windmills, and all this stuff. It does not work, and the left still don't see that they have to they charge their cars from fuel filled stations and all this sorts of stuff.
Right.
I don't equate things together. But the second thing is, Elon Musk is the military's highest paid civilian contractor, and with this military operation going on and Trump, they know what's going down. So do you think that is the original Elon, or do you think that's a replacement, a mask wearer, someone acting, playing their part, or what now?
Personally, because the ego demonstrations and the faux pas where he does the Nazi salute and says these things with a chainsaw and stuff, I think it's the real guy. He's that dumb. But get this, there's a whole lot of other Elons that they have, whether it's people that are just using that identity to do the work too. And I know that for a fact, because it just happened to me just when I was flying from Orlando airport. So I had said that, I'll throw you a bomb here. I had said that what Elon's job was to compromise the president. They took him to fights first. It's boys hanging out, that kind of thing. The next thing that was going to be done was he was going to get caught with bringing some girls in, and they thought that would be the Trump's president's Achilles heel. Elon would do that, where just to get together with boys and some girls, and then they put him in a compromise situation, and just enough to make the public think that was the plan. Well, that just happened to me. It just happened to me. I had a girl who's I'm not going to say her name, but she has a Tesla, and she saw that I had a layover at Orlando before I was coming up, a 7-hour layover, and said that she showed me all these texts. I have them where it said that Elon was talking to her and commenting on our conversation. I'm like, why is Elon letting us have a conversation? And she's showing these texts that he's supporting it. And think of that trap, right? Next thing I know, she's having me I fly to Orlando. She picks me up in her Tesla, and she wants to go to the Holiday Inn to have a room where we can talk. Exactly what I was talking about would happen to Trump. Elon's other blonde girl is spending on me. And I have the whole thread I can show you privately of those messages where I started saying things back where it was like, what am I saying? Right. So I thought maybe this will make a deal where Elon will do the right thing. They use that angle, right? The girl's somehow in love with you and this kind of stuff. The whole trap went my way, which they consider me a bigger threat right now. So at this timing, isn't that something? It just happened. It just happened. And now she's spreading around that I was all this other stuff and that I didn't want people to know. I have my own web designer who has the correspondence where I was with her saying like, I don't know if I should meet with this woman. She's like, well, I don't know if you should either. I said, well, I'll find out what she has to say. Next thing, she's driving me to a Holiday Inn saying that nothing's open anyway for layover. If I had gone to that room, even with the best of intentions, I'm done.
Yeah.
Done. So is Elon worried? You bet you he's worried. And later I'll show you those texts she sent me, the whole thread.
Wow.
Yeah.
With
her, even with her in a ball gown, attending, she claims some official thing with all these tats all over her, all kinds of tattoos with like an Elsa ball gown. It doesn't work, it doesn't look right. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So wait till you see. There's so much developing right now. So are they concerned? Yes. Is there motion? Yes. What's their tactic? Compromising situations. Are they going to apply it to Trump? They're going to certainly try again. Is Trump ready to move? I think he is. Are we going to have restoration? You bet you are. Can they do anything about it? I don't think they can. The only options they have left is a bullet aimed at me or trying to make that stupid, flimsy stipulation order stick. I don't think it's going to work. And throw Sophia Stewart at me again, trying to babble. But I don't think that's going to work either. So we got him.
Wow. All right. So I guess at this point, we just need to be staying very close to you to seeing like how this thing, the next steps and how it's, and when
friends around me right now, because I am in the sights right now. I'm told I've been hauled off about 6 times by the FBI. The FBI is the bad guys, and the CIA are actually the good guys. So it's like the CIA is helping me. The FBI is trying to put me away because he thinks
you're brave, man. We need brave people in this. This is,
Yeah. So in the back rooms, I'm a hero. To the public, I'm an unknown. To the back rooms, I'm a hero. They come up all the time. They'll go like, it's really honored to meet you. You're the guy that wrote it. We know what, even the Hollywood studios will do that. Different Hollywood studios, they're like, we know we're still following your formula. So in the back room, which is interesting because I felt a leading that I felt was from God, that you'll be honored in the heavens, not on the earth. And I was like, I'm fine with that as long as I can get the job done.
Yeah.
Apparently that may change, but good.
Wow.
Good on you, sir.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And you know how my sentiments. I mean, since we met in Cape Canaveral, telling that such riveting the room with your story. But no, we're going to have you on regularly. We got to see how this all unfolds. And
happy to. We can do that'd be great. That'd be great for future historians.
Yes.
Because we can the comments you guys are so beautiful. The thoughts you have and questions are spot on. And we can have a running historical track, a primary source of information on how it unfolded too.
Yeah.
And if anything does happen to me, keep going. I think keep going, because I'm open to whatever happens. I'm fine as long as the job gets done. We save our kids, make our country, safe. And if it's going to be a one world order, let's make it a good one at least. And that's what Neo tries to do in the original work. Let's have compassion and humility. So if these were the last words I got to speak, I'm going to leave it with gratitude. I'm gratitude for having been alive. I'll never harm myself or others. That's for the FBI's tries, they're throwing in. But I will definitely be celebrating from here on out as much time I get. And I hope we do get to celebrate all together at the end. Because
I think we will.
Yeah,
I think we will.
I think so too.
Yeah, good on you. And I just want to say as well, I've got a friend who's a web designer, and he uses ChatGPT a lot to look at script and coding and find it. So listening to you at the start, putting that all into ChatGPT and it coming up with all the traps was excellent. So
excellent.
Yeah.
If you can make it available to the public too off your sites, like it just can grab whatever document they need. I want everything to be open sourced, and I want like I said, everything on record. They don't, we do. That's how we win. So thanks, guys. God bless you.
Thank
good
you.
on you. Sorry for your losses.
Oh, it was meant for what it's to be, and to be is going to be great. And to lift the memory of my sons and honor them, I'm in. So
we've all lost people in this great war and this great awakening. So lots of love to you, sir. Keep doing well.
Love to you guys too. I'll see you on the other side. Okay.
Okay.
Where we go, one go all. Yeah. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Tom.
much. Cheers, guys.